How's it going, guys? My name's Sid. I'm a creative director, interior designer, fashion designer, and more or less just like a creative in an entire different sense from what people are used to seeing. Just to give you guys a little bit of my background, my mom's side is from Dominican Republic, and my dad's side is from the U.S. And I've been born and raised in West Palm Beach, Florida my whole entire life. Nothing's really changed. Been artistic my whole entire life, so a lot of people either when they become a fashion designer, they've either studied on it or they just became it just because they were interested. But being an artist was really in my roots from the ground up since I was a child. I remember drawing like Ferraris when I was a kid. That was really like the first type of glimpse that I saw as an artist, that I was going to become somebody just in general, just as an artist. And everybody in my family also, ironically, happened to be artists themselves, from my mom and my dad also. They were extremely artistic. I was the first one to really like pick it up in my family and take forward with it, really do something that other people didn't do. And I really got into fashion, more or less. Just for years I was inspired by fashion design and just seeing people wear certain outfits. Getting into fashion design, it really first started out just from an artistic standpoint and perspective. So I started out as a graphic designer. Things became more in tune by the day, but I really wasn't getting paid enough to, like make a living at the end of the day and really do what I love. And as much as I love graphic design, I still wanted to keep that a tribute, but I wanted to progress from it. And then moving on to the next step, that's when I got into fashion design. And at first I was just painting things and going from there, and it was just like a hobby, more or less. The hobby had really more or less turned to, okay, I really want to learn how to paint and really be good at learning how to paint on clothing and shoes. And that's where I started to break through, because I didn't even know how to really like paint from the get-go. I knew how to draw my whole entire life, but when it came to painting, I transitioned to it. I taught myself how to paint within at least 1 to 2 months. I got into it and then started looking up the whole technical aspect of how to make it fully washable on clothing. And then once I did that, I ended up selling my clothing, making it fully washable, and it was awesome. It was like giving people other outlet at the end of the day to just wear whatever, like from hand-painted Nike Air Force Ones and different shoes that they had in their closet to hand-painted jackets that had like Zelda on it and crazy things. And then from there, it was just really like the passion that took off and the fuel from it, and how I made other people feel that really made me want to captivate off of it and get better at it every day. And from that point on, I got it to a global standpoint. I ended up working with Lil Wayne and Lil Twist of Young Money Records. I had my items on TV, and it was all from Instagram. So I encourage people, or anybody out there too, that does have a social media, to really be relentless, fearless, and to never be afraid to message anybody out there, especially if you're talented, and just know that you have a certain gift. And that's what I did. I was always relentless. I got out to everybody at the end of the day. And before I knew it, I was in a penthouse in Miami. I was showing him all of my pieces one by one. And I always had a concept of my worth. So a lot of artists, when they're in a certain situation or in a certain standpoint, they would more or less just give items to your favorite artist or whatever's going on. But I never really kind of gave in to what was going on. I always knew my worth and really just charged on that whole aspect of it, and moved it forward. Got my items on TV. Ended up going to LA, and it was like a real powerful spiritual moment, because I showed myself at the end of the day that anything's possible, and that people that I was once inspired by and that I saw on TV, I was next to them on a daily basis. Like it was insane, and it inspired a lot of people around me to just keep on doing things and go at it, never stop. And after that, I really didn't stop after that. It just kept on going harder. I ended up going to New York Fashion Week and really like progressed off that and really just try to be my best self. And just to give you guys an insight on the year, it was 2023. I did New York Fashion Week with the Blondes, and I was backstage with them, and then I did a whole rooftop party, everything. It was like an insane insight, because at the end of the day, it's like people dream to really go to New York Fashion Week and see the whole perspective and the limelight and everything. And I was backstage and I got to see the whole runway show and just everything from the inside out. And it was really life-changing. And again, showed me that anything is possible. And then after that, I just kept on pushing and kept going and really never stopped. My whole goal has really always been to make the most expressive items that not only people that have ever seen in their life, but more or less could learn something from and be intrigued by and be curious by, to the point to where you're attracted by it, like no matter what, like when you walk down the street. So depending on the item, if it's extremely technical, like say it's like a leather patchwork or something like that, it'll be drawn out with the concept, graphic design and everything. And then from the graphic design, it'll then be, you know, transmitted to the actual version of the patchwork, and I'll do it piece by piece, get everything. But for the most part, everything's really like off the top. So if I have a vision about something, of how I want it shown, or how I want a certain image on something, everything's really going to be off the top and then go from there. I have capabilities to like really I blow my mind from this, and a lot of people might not even believe me, but you could even see it firsthand if you wanted to. I could literally make a whole outfit from scratch without the actual outlines. So every single designer that you probably have seen on the market will use an outline to basically make an outfit at the end of the day. And I have capabilities to really hand see, and not only see it firsthand, but to carve it out piece by piece and do a whole entire front, back, sleeves, everything of an outfit without the actual outline there. Now, when it comes to the sizing, obviously that'll have to be measured accordingly, but the fact that I could do that without the actual outline is, you know, it's pretty crazy, because when you get into patchwork, it's a whole different ball game. A lot of things are cut a different way. It's not really going to necessarily be the way that people think it's going to be. It's a lot harder to do it because it's piece by piece and a stitch. So every single stitch that you see is stitched and secured to the point to where it is there in a certain pattern that really makes sense to people, or it's something that is really abstract. But I'm doing it in an expressive sort of sense to where people can see it and get intrigued by it. And it could be an attraction. It could be like, you know, a method of like law of attraction in a sort of sense, but with fashion. So 2026, I'm thinking at least about doing a lot more interior design, furniture inquiries, to where I do custom furniture. You guys see custom pieces that are handmade, hand built from the ground up, drilled everything, etc. And people see fashion from a whole different perspective as far as the interior design, section. But when it comes to fashion, I would say more or less just to continue to provide an outlet to people, but not only provide an outlet to people, just keep on doing things that really like surprise people at the end of the day and really have people intrigued, and to keep on breaking boundaries that haven't been seen in fashion and that haven't really been seen as like the norm, and to keep on doing the thing that I've been doing. I definitely want to manifest, I'd say, a lot more abundance than I already have, not only so that it could go around my people, but so that everybody could kind of live the life that they want to and kind of flow and go from there and be my best self, retire my family is really, really like a goal of a lot of people. Get closer to God, I'd say. Like, I feel like a lot of people don't get close to God enough, and really just leave him out the equation when he is the answer to a lot of things. And I'd say just treating people right, never really like losing sight of the moment and what's in front of you. Yeah, just keep on being relentless, fearless, and never be afraid to really be your best self and capitalize off that. Don't worry if your confidence at the end of the day is intimidating to others, because a lot of people will feel that just because they have a certain type of insecurity, I'd say, in my opinion. I'd say a big thing that I didn't mention earlier that I meant to mention is consistency. So I'll tell that person, just be consistent. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Talk with people, be social, especially. Like, you can meet 100 people in a day, for example, and out of the 100 people that you meet, one of them is bound to hit you up. And it's bound to be a network connection, a social, like a building connection, etc. And it's all in really how you look at it. And my opinion, it's kind of like a numbers game in a sort of sense, but really just tell somebody just to continue to be fearless. I feel like a lot of people invoke fear on others with circumstances or what they've been through or what their parents have been through, and they think that is the end-all be-all with a certain situation or every situation. But instead of doing that, inspire and encourage people to be their best self, and that anything is possible at the end of the day if you work hard enough, you believe in yourself, help out other people, and reciprocate the energy and the universe. Yeah, man, I just want to say I really appreciate Camino. Everybody should tune into him at the end of the day. That was just fish in the water, don't mind that. Yeah, everybody should tune into him at the end of the day. He's always been a really hard worker. Not only that, just an entrepreneur and his best self, and really inspires other people, pushes them to their best self no matter what anybody has said. Fuck that shit at the end of the day. And more or less, like, no matter what anybody says, being an artist is the hardest bag you could possibly ever get. It's just being an artist in general. I've been blessed and grateful to not only be on Fashion Week, be on TV, inspire people on a global level, get my items to Europe, Paris, Italy, all that stuff. But more or less be a symbol of prodigy to other people, that it's possible that you can still be your best self, inspire other people, and make money on your worth. And that is the main goal. Never lose sight of that. I feel like a lot of people lose sight of their worth, who they are as a person, and who they could be of impact of, just in general. Shout, respect the vibe. This fucking art for motherfucking real. And we're at downtown West Palm Beach, Florida, on the Intercoastal. It's been a pleasure getting interviewed by you, bro. And yeah, it's up. Nothing but blessings. And hell yeah, bro. What goes around comes around. Always.